Question 1. While investigating inconsistencies across various units of a multinational corporation, the legal team discovers that the company has been using an internally developed software program to manage operations. The software was created by an independent contractor under a work-for-hire agreement, but there was no written contract explicitly transferring ownership of the copyright to the corporation. The contractor later registers the software with the Copyright Office and asserts exclusive rights over it. Who is the rightful owner of the software's copyright under U.S. copyright law? A. The multinational corporation, since it commissioned and paid for the software development. B. The independent contractor, since there was no written agreement transferring copyright. C. The corporation, because software developed for business purposes is automatically owned by the company. D. The corporation and the contractor jointly own the copyright by default. Answer B. The independent contractor, since there was no written agreement transferring copyright. Explanation. Under U.S. copyright law, ownership of a copyrightable work initially vests in the author unless it qualifies as a work made for hire, according to 17 U.S.C. SS 101 work for hire scenario applies in only two cases: if the work is created by an employee within the scope of employment, which does not apply here, as the contractor is not an employee; if the work is created by an independent contractor under written agreement explicitly stating that it is work made for hire and falls into one of the 9 specific categories outlined in the statute. Since no such written agreement exists, copyright remains with the independent contractor by default, even though the corporation paid for the work. The corporation may have an implied license to use the software but does not own the copyright. This principle was reinforced in Community for Creative Nonviolence v. Reed 490 U.S. 730 1989, where the Supreme Court ruled that independent contractors retain copyright unless there is clear contractual transfer of ownership. Question 2. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted by a major cyber attack, a tech company copies large portions of the competitor's proprietary database to restore critical services. The company argues that its actions fall under fair use due to the urgent nature of the situation. Under copyright law, would the fair use doctrine protect the unauthorized copying of the database? A. Yes, because emergencies automatically justify fair use of copyrighted works. B. No, because databases are explicitly excluded from fair use considerations. C. It depends on whether the copying meets the 4-factor fair use test. D. Yes, because restoring critical services is legally recognized exemption. Answer. C. It depends on whether the copy meets the 4-factor fair use test. Explanation. Fair use is determined by applying the 4-factor test under 17 U.S.C. SS 107, which courts use to evaluate whether unauthorized use of copyrighted material is permissible. The 4 factors are purpose and character of the use, if the use is transformative, g. criticism, commentary, research, teaching is more likely to be fair use. However, simply copying competitors' database without transformation is problematic. Nature of the copyrighted work. Factual works like raw data may have less protection than creative works, but proprietary databases still receive copyright protection. Amount and substantiality of the portion used. Copying large portions or essential elements of databases is unlikely to favor fair use. Effect on the market. If the use deprives the copyright owner of revenue or competes with their market, it is less likely to qualify as fair use. Emergencies alone do not override copyright law. Specific statutory exemptions apply, such as for national security or government use. 17 U.S.C. SS 105 does not cover private companies. Courts have ruled in cases like Harper and Roe v. Nation Enterprises 471 U.S. 539 1985 that necessity alone does not justify fair use if the factors weigh against it. Question 3. In a situation where formal requirements conflict with practical enforcement, an independent filmmaker discovers that an individual has uploaded his entire copyrighted film to a popular video sharing platform without permission. The filmmaker sends a takedown notice under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act (DOIA), but the platform refuses to remove the video, claiming it qualifies as fair use. What is the best legal course action for the filmmaker? A. The filmmaker should file a lawsuit for direct copyright infringement against the platform. B. The filmmaker must file a EA counter notice challenging the platform's refusal. C. The filmmaker should submit second ESEA notice and request injunctive relief. D. The filmmaker should escalate the case by filing lawsuit against the uploader for infringement. Answer D. The filmmaker should escalate the case by filing a lawsuit against the uploader for infringement. Explanation. Under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DAA 17 U.S.C. SS 512, the proper process for handling copyright infringement on online platforms involves the notice and takedown procedure. The steps include: the copyright owner submits DAA takedown notice to the platform. The platform must promptly remove or disable access to the content to qualify for the safe harbor protection under SS 512. C. If the uploader believes their use qualifies as fair use, they may counter notice under SS 512. G. If the copyright owner disagrees, they must file a lawsuit within 1014 business days to prevent the content from being reinstated. Since the platform has refused to remove the content, it is likely asserting that the use is fair use under 17 U.S.C. SS 107. However, fair use is legal defense determined by courts, not platforms. Therefore, the correct legal recourse for the filmmaker is to file a lawsuit against the uploader, as the uploader is the party responsible for infringement. Platforms that refuse to remove infringing content despite valid EEA notice may lose their safe harbor protections, as seen in cases like Viacom v. YouTube 676 F.319 Twodser, 2012. However, unless the platform itself is directly infringing, lawsuits are generally directed at the uploader. Question 4. During a comprehensive review of a process that needs improvement, a publishing house specializing in educational textbooks is revising its licensing agreements for digital course materials. A dispute arises regarding whether a professor's adaptation of an online textbook into a series of narrated videos with slides summarizing key chapters constitutes derivative work requiring permission from the copyright owner. The professor argues their use falls under fair use due to the educational purpose and the transformation of content into new medium. The publisher, however, asserts that the adaptation infringes on its exclusive rights to create derivative works. Which of the following is the most legally accurate assessment of the professor's actions? A. The professor's use qualifies as fair use because it is used solely for educational purposes, which is one of the primary factors in fair use analysis. B. The professor's adaptation is likely infringing because it creates derivative work that requires explicit permission from the copyright holder. C. The adaptation is not copyright issue since the professor is not distributing the work commercially or making profit. D. The professor's adaptation omissible because it does not reproduce substantial parts of the textbook verbatim and only summarizes the main concepts. Answer B. The professor's adaptation is likely infringing because it creates derivative work that requires explicit permission from the copyright holder. Explanation. This scenario hinges on the distinction between transformative fair use and the derivative works right under 17 U.S.C. SS 106. 2, which grants copyright holders exclusive control over the creation of adaptations based on their original works. Courts often assess fair use. 17 U.S.C. SS 107 through 4 key factors: purpose and character of the use. Educational purposes weigh in favor of fair use, but commercial nature alone is not determinative. Nature of the copyrighted work. Factual and educational works receive less protection than creative works, but textbooks are still protectable. Amount and substantiality used. Even though summaries are provided, the full structure and essence of the textbook is being adapted. Effect on the market. The adaptation could harm the publisher's ability to license its work in similar formats. Since the professor's adaptation effectively transforms the textbook into video-based course without permission, it constitutes derivative work rather than a fair use transformation. Courts have ruled against similar adaptations in cases like Castle Rock Entertainment Inc. v. Carroll Publishing Group Inc. 1990 and Authors Guild v. Google Inc. 2015, where unauthorized transformations were deemed infringing. Question 5. While analyzing the root causes of sequential problems in digital content management, a streaming service discovers that multiple independent artists are issuing DAA takedown notices against a user-generated content platform for hosting music remixes based on their original songs. The remixes significantly altered the underlying compositions but retain recognizable melodies. The platform argues that it is protected the DAA safe harbor provisions and that remixing constitutes fair use due to its transformative nature. How should a court analyze this issue under copyright law? A. The remixes are non-infringing because the platform does not directly upload the content and it qualifies for safe harbor under the DSEA if it complies with takedown requests. B. The remixes are likely infringing since they retain substantial elements of the original compositions, even though they are altered. C. The remixes automatically qualify as fair use under 17 U.S.C. SS 107, as remixing is recognized creative process that transforms the work into new artistic expression. D. The platform is fully responsible for the infringement since it hosts the content and DSEA safe harbor provisions do not apply to user-generated content platforms. Answer B. The remixes are likely infringing since they retain substantial elements of the original compositions even though they are altered. Explanation: the safe harbor provisions under the DSEA 17 U.S.C. SS 512 C. Shield online service providers from liability for copyright infringement only if they meet specific conditions, such as promptly removing infringing content after receiving valid takedown request. However, this does not determine whether the remixes themselves are infringing. Under copyright law, remix is considered derivative work 17 U.S.C. SS 106 2 because it alters and repurposes an existing composition. Even though remixing can sometimes be transformative and qualify for fair use, courts have generally ruled against unauthorized remixes that retain substantial parts of original songs, as seen in Grand Upright Music Limited v. Warner Bros. Records Inc. 1991 and Bridgeport Music Inc. v. Dimension Films 2005. In summary, while the platform may qualify for DSEA safe harbor protection, the themselves are not automatically fair use, and the original artists have strong claim that their copyright is being infringed. Question 6. When implementing new protocols in a shared environment, a university library digitizes its rare book collection and makes the scanned text available on an internal database for students and faculty. The library argues that this falls under fair use since the digitization is for educational purposes. However, a publisher that holds copyright to some of the books claims this is an infringement and demands the removal of the copies. Which of the following statements best describes the legal situation? A. The library's digitization qualifies as fair use because it is for non-profit educational use. B. The publisher is correct because digitization without permission violates copyright law even for educational use. C. The library may be protected under fair use, but factors such as market impact and the nature of the works must be considered. D. Since the books are in university library, their use is automatically allowed on educational exemption. Answer C. The library may be protected under fair use, but factors such as market impact and the nature of the works must be considered. Explanation: fair use is determined by a four-factor test under 17 U.S.C. SS 107, which considers purpose and character of the use. Educational use can favor fair use, but the degree to which the use is transformative is also important. Digitization that merely reproduces the work without significant transformation may not automatically qualify as fair use. Nature of the copyrighted work: if the books are factual or scholarly, this factor leans toward fair use. However, if they are creative works, e.g. novels, this factor favors the publisher. Amount: substantiality. Scanning and making entire books available leans against fair use, as courts often find that using an entire work weighs against this defense. Effect on the market: if digitization allows free access to books that would otherwise be purchased or licensed, it harms the market and makes fair use less likely. Case law such as Authors Guild v. Google Inc. 2015 supports some digitization efforts, but those decisions often involve transformative use, such as search indexing, rather than full access. Since the library's use does not significantly transform the works, it must prove that its actions do not undermine the market for the publisher. Therefore, option C correctly explains that fair use might apply but must be evaluated on case-by-case basis. Incorrect options. A is incorrect because while educational purposes can support fair use, they do not automatically grant protection. The other fair use factors must be considered. B is incorrect because fair use provides exceptions to exclusive copyright rights in certain contexts. D is incorrect because there is no automatic exemption for university libraries. Libraries can make fair use arguments, but they must demonstrate compliance with the fair use factors. Question 7. In a situation where formal requirements conflict with practical limitations, a logistics company is implementing a new routing software that optimizes deliveries based on fuel efficiency and road conditions. However, legal regulations require all trucks to follow predefined routes that do not align with the software's recommendations. The operations team must balance compliance with efficiency. Which of the following would be the most effective approach resolving this conflict? A. Disable the software's routing recommendations to ensure full compliance with regulations. B. Request exemptions from regulatory authorities while providing data to support efficiency gains. C. Ignore the formal requirements since operational efficiency should be the priority. D. Adjust company policies so that only high-priority deliveries use the optimized routing while others follow regulations. Answer: B. Request exemptions from regulatory authorities while providing data to support efficiency gains. Explanation: this scenario presents a common challenge where operational efficiency and legal compliance are at odds. The best approach balances innovation with adherence to legal requirements. A is incorrect because disabling the software would eliminate its primary benefit, reducing efficiency, without exploring potential solutions. C is incorrect because ignoring formal requirements can result in legal penalties, fines, or reputational damage. D is partially viable but does not fully resolve the conflict, as regulatory violations could still occur in some cases. B is correct because requesting exemptions with supporting data allows company to seek legal flexibility while demonstrating that optimized routing provides economic and environmental benefits. Many industries successfully advocate for regulatory adjustments when they provide data-driven evidence that their approach is safe and beneficial. Question 8. When developing a solution that must address opposing needs, a healthcare provider must balance patient confidentiality with the need for data sharing between specialists. A new electronic health record system is introduced, but it limits access to certain medical histories, causing inefficiencies in specialist referrals. Some doctors argue that broader access improves patient outcomes, while compliance officers insist on strict controls. Which approach best resolves this issue? A. Restrict access to protect patient confidentiality, even if it causes delays in care. B. Implement a tiered access system where specialists can access relevant records with patient consent. C. Allow unrestricted access to all records to improve treatment efficiency. D. Remove restrictions only for emergency cases while maintaining strict controls for routine care. Answer: B. Implement a tiered access system where specialists can access relevant records with patient consent. Explanation: this issue is common in healthcare settings where data privacy laws such as HIPAA require confidentiality, but patient care also depends on data accessibility. A is incorrect because restricting access too much could negatively impact patient care by delaying or misinforming treatment. C is incorrect because unrestricted access violates privacy laws and can lead to unauthorized disclosures. D is partially correct but does not address routine cases where timely access can still be crucial. B is correct because a tiered access system balances security with efficiency by allowing specialists access based on necessity and patient consent. This aligns with minimum necessary standards in healthcare data sharing, ensuring that confidentiality is upheld while still allowing critical information flow. Question 9. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted, a major cybersecurity breach affects the corporation's internal servers and customer-facing platforms simultaneously. The team must decide whether to prioritize restoring internal systems or securing customer data first. Which of the following best describes the optimal response strategy? A. Focus on restoring internal systems first to ensure employees can coordinate full recovery. B. Secure customer data first, as external breaches can lead to reputational damage and legal consequences. C. Simultaneously address both issues by allocating separate response teams with defined priorities. D. Shut down all systems immediately to prevent further breaches, even if it disrupts operations. Answer: C. Simultaneously address both issues by allocating separate response teams with defined priorities. Explanation: a cybersecurity incident response plan requires a balanced approach where immediate threats are neutralized while minimizing operational disruptions. A is incorrect because focusing only on internal systems could expose customer data for longer. B is incorrect because solely protecting customer data while neglecting internal breaches could allow further damage. D is incorrect because a full shutdown can cause unnecessary disruptions and should be a last resort. C is correct because dividing response efforts ensures that critical areas are addressed simultaneously, reducing the overall impact of the breach. Many security frameworks, such as NIST Cybersecurity Framework, recommend parallel incident management strategies. Question 10. In a multi-location scenario where consistency requirements are crucial, a retail chain introduces a new checkout system that improves efficiency but requires significant employee training. Some store managers report difficulty adapting, causing delays in certain locations, while others implement it successfully. What is the best way to ensure uniform adoption of the new system? A. Mandate strict compliance with deadlines, even if some locations struggle with implementation. B. Offer tailored training sessions based on each store's performance and employee feedback. C. Allow each store to implement the system at its own pace, prioritizing comfort over consistency. D. Roll back the new system entirely until all locations can implement it simultaneously. Answer: B. Offer tailored training sessions based on each store's performance and employee feedback. Explanation: large-scale process changes require structured adaptation strategies. A is incorrect because forcing compliance without support can lead to resentment and lower adoption rates. C is incorrect because lack of standardization can cause inconsistencies across stores. D is incorrect because rolling back the system removes progress made in locations where it is working well. B is correct because offering targeted training ensures all locations reach competency while addressing specific challenges faced by individual stores. Question 11. In a high-stakes environment where multiple challenges must be managed simultaneously, a multinational corporation is undergoing a merger while also rolling out a new enterprise software system. Employees across departments are struggling with new workflows, leading to inefficiencies and frustration. Some executives push for strict deadlines, while others argue for a phased implementation. What is the best strategy to ensure a smooth transition? Maintaining operational stability. A. Enforce strict deadlines to complete the transition as quickly as possible. B. Implement phased adoption with department-specific support and flexibility. C. Allow employees to continue using old systems indefinitely to ease the transition. D. Suspend the merger until the new system is fully integrated and stable. Answer: B. Implement phased adoption with department-specific support and flexibility. Explanation: managing two major organizational changes at once requires a structured yet adaptable approach. A is incorrect because strict deadlines without adequate support could lead to errors and resistance. C is incorrect because keeping old systems indefinitely prevents full adoption of the new technology. D is incorrect because suspending the merger may create additional complications and financial risks. B is correct because a phased approach allows different departments to transition at a manageable pace while receiving tailored support, reducing resistance, increasing efficiency. Question 12. During a comprehensive review of a process that needs improvement, a manufacturing company finds that product defects have increased by 12% over the last 6 months. Initial data shows that multiple factors, such as raw material quality, machine calibration, and operator errors, could be contributing to the issue. Which of the following would be the most effective first step in addressing this problem? A. Replace the machinery suspected to be causing defects. B. Conduct root cause analysis to identify key sources of the defects. C. Increase production oversight without changing current processes. D. Implement stricter defect penalties for employees. Answer: B. Conduct a root cause analysis to identify key sources of the defects. Explanation: before implementing changes, it is critical to identify the root cause to avoid unnecessary costs or incorrect fixes. A is incorrect because replacing machinery without confirming the cause could be expensive and ineffective. C is incorrect because increasing oversight without adjustments does not fix underlying issues. D is incorrect because penalties do not address process-level failures. B is correct because a root cause analysis, a CA, such as using fishbone diagrams or 5 whys, helps identify whether defects stem from materials, a machine's human error, or factors. Question 13. When implementing new protocols in a shared environment, a hospital introduces a digital medication tracking system to reduce prescription errors. However, some nurses find the system time-consuming and revert to manual tracking, creating inconsistencies in patient records. What is the best course of action to ensure compliance while addressing staff concerns? A. Enforce strict disciplinary action against those who fail to use the new system. B. Provide additional training and workflow adjustments to integrate the system seamlessly. C. Allow nurses to use either the digital or manual method based on preference. D. Remove the system and return to manual tracking to avoid resistance. Answer: B. Provide additional training and workflow adjustments to integrate the system seamlessly. Explanation: For new protocols to be effective, they must be well integrated into existing workflows. A is incorrect because punishing employees without addressing concerns can lower morale. C is incorrect because using both systems creates data inconsistencies. D is incorrect because reverting to the old method negates the benefits of digital tracking. B is correct because additional training and workflow adjustments ensure proper adoption while addressing staff concerns, ultimately improving patient safety and reducing errors. Question 14. In a scenario where efficiency decreases across multiple departments, a financial services company notices that customer service response times have slowed significantly after implementing a new client management system. While the software offers more features, employees report difficulty navigating the interface. What is the most effective way to address this issue? A. Conduct usability testing and provide targeted training for employees. B. Revert to the previous system to improve response times. C. Hire additional staff to handle increased processing times. D. Mandate system usage without additional support. Answer: A. Conduct usability testing and provide targeted training for employees. Explanation: new systems should enhance efficiency, not hinder it. B is incorrect because reverting to the old system ignores potential long-term benefits. C is incorrect because hiring more staff does not fix the underlying problem. D is incorrect because forcing system use without training leads to frustration. A is correct because usability testing and training help employees adapt, reducing inefficiencies. Question 15. When scaling up operations that experience significant logistical challenges, a global e-commerce company expands its warehouse network to meet growing demand. However, delays and inventory mismatches occur across locations. Which strategy would best ensure smooth scalability? A. Invest in a centralized inventory management system with real-time tracking. B. Rely on existing systems and manage issues manually as they arise. C. Focus solely on increasing workforce size to handle the extra workload. D. Reduce order volumes temporarily to ease operational strain. Answer: A. Invest in a centralized inventory management system with real-time tracking. Explanation: scalability requires technology-driven efficiency rather than just increasing manual effort. B is incorrect because managing manually is unsustainable at scale. C is incorrect because increasing staff does not address systemic inefficiencies. D is incorrect because reducing orders harms growth potential. A is correct because real-time inventory tracking improves efficiency across locations. Question 16. In an environment where different components must interact seamlessly, an airline upgrades its scheduling system to optimize crew assignments. However, the system does not integrate well with payroll, leading to errors in salary calculations. Which approach best resolves this issue? A. Maintain separate systems and manually correct discrepancies. B. Develop an API or ensure real-time data synchronization. C. Return to the old system until the new one is error-free. D. Reduce automation and rely more on manual checks. Answer: B. Develop an API, ensure real-time data synchronization. Explanation: seamless integration between systems is essential for efficiency. A is incorrect because manual corrections introduce delays. C is incorrect because returning to the old system halts progress. D is incorrect because reducing automation increases human errors. B is correct because an API allows real-time synchronization, preventing errors. Question 17. During an emergency response where multiple areas are impacted, a city's disaster recovery team must coordinate efforts to restore power, provide medical assistance, and ensure supply distribution after hurricane. However, communication between agencies is inconsistent, leading to delays and confusion. Which strategy would be most effective in improving response coordination? A. Establish centralized emergency command center with real-time information sharing. B. Allow each agency to work independently to manage its own area of responsibility. C. Rely on volunteers to bridge communication gaps between agencies. D. Postpone non-critical responses until all communication issues are resolved. Answer: A. Establish a centralized emergency command center with real-time information sharing. Explanation: during an emergency, rapid and coordinated communication is crucial. B is incorrect because independent work without coordination leads to inefficiencies. C is incorrect because volunteers may lack the expertise to ensure effective communication. D is incorrect because delaying non-critical responses can still impact overall recovery. A is correct because a centralized command center ensures real-time communication, leading to faster decision-making and resource allocation. Question 18. While analyzing the root causes of sequential problems in A retail chain, leadership notices that multiple stores experience frequent supply shortages despite automated restocking. Managers report discrepancies between inventory records and actual stock levels. What should be the first step in resolving this issue? A. Conduct. A full audit to identify discrepancies and their sources. B. Increase order volumes to compensate for missing stock. C. Replace store managers to improve accountability. D. Disable automated restocking and switch to manual orders. Answer: A. Conduct a full audit to identify discrepancies in their sources. Explanation: understanding why inventory mismatches occur is essential before making changes. B is incorrect because increasing orders without fixing the problem could lead to overstocking. C is incorrect because replacing managers without data may not address the real issue. D is incorrect because switching to manual ordering could introduce more human errors. A is correct because an audit identifies root causes like theft, system errors, or supplier issues. Question 19. In a situation where resource allocation becomes critical, a healthcare facility struggles with balancing staff schedules, equipment availability, and patient needs during peak flu season. Some departments are overwhelmed, while others have idle resources. Which approach would optimize resource allocation? A. Implement a dynamic resource allocation system that redistributes staff and equipment in real time. B. Maintain current scheduling and have staff work extra hours as needed. C. Hire temporary workers without adjusting existing schedules. D. Focus only on critical areas, leaving non-urgent cases for later. Answer: A. Implement a dynamic resource allocation system that redistributes staff and equipment in real time. Explanation: healthcare facilities need adaptive resource management to handle surges in demand. B is incorrect because overworking staff leads to burnout. C is incorrect because hiring without optimizing scheduling does not solve inefficiencies. D is incorrect because delaying non-urgent cases could cause complications. A is correct because a real-time allocation system improves efficiency by distributing resources where they are most needed. Question 20. When developing a solution that must address opposing needs, a software company is designing a security system that must be both highly secure and easy to use. Some engineers prioritize security, while others focus on user experience, creating conflicts in design choices. How should the team proceed? A. Use a balanced approach that optimizes both security and usability through iterative testing. B. Prioritize security over usability, ensuring maximum protection. C. Focus on usability first, adding security later if needed. D. Allow each department to implement its own solution separately. Answer: A. Use a balanced approach that optimizes both security and usability through iterative testing. Explanation: a successful solution must balance security and usability to be effective. B is incorrect because overly strict security can frustrate users. C is incorrect because adding security later can lead to vulnerabilities. D is incorrect because separate implementations can lead to inconsistencies. A is correct because iterative testing helps find the optimal balance. Question 21. While investigating a complicated issue between different teams, an automotive company finds that delays in production stem from poor coordination between engineering and procurement. Engineers request materials too late, leading to missed deadlines. What is the best way to resolve this issue? A. Establish a cross-functional coordination process to align engineering and procurement timelines. B. Allow each department to manage its responsibilities separately. C. Penalize engineering teams for late requests. D. Increase buffer stock to prevent shortages. Answer: A. Establish a cross-functional coordination process to align engineering and procurement timelines. Explanation: cross-team coordination and communication are essential for efficiency. B is incorrect because lack of coordination causes repeated delays. C is incorrect because penalties do not solve communication gaps. D is incorrect because excess stock increases costs. A is correct because synchronizing processes ensures timely material availability. Question 22. In a case where multiple parties have different objectives, a city government plans a major infrastructure project, but businesses, residents, and environmental groups have conflicting concerns. Which strategy would best resolve these conflicts? A. Hold public forums to gather input and adjust plans accordingly. B. Proceed with the project based on expert recommendations only. C. Focus on the interests of the largest stakeholder group. D. Delay the project indefinitely to avoid conflict. Answer: A. Hold public forums to gather input and adjust plans accordingly. Explanation: effective stakeholder engagement ensures long-term success. B is incorrect because ignoring public input leads to resistance. C is incorrect because prioritizing one group creates dissatisfaction. D is incorrect because indefinite delays prevent progress. A is correct because public forums encourage collaboration and compromise. Question 23. When implementing backup procedures across various locations, a logistics company needs a disaster recovery plan that ensures business continuity after system failures. What is the best approach? A. Implement cloud-based backups with automated failover mechanisms. B. Rely on manual recovery processes when failures occur. C. Backup data quarterly to reduce costs. D. Use different backup systems for each location. Answer: A. Implement cloud-based backups with automated failover mechanisms. Explanation: a strong disaster recovery plan minimizes downtime. B is incorrect because manual recovery is slow. C is incorrect because infrequent backups risk data loss. D is incorrect because inconsistent systems complicate recovery. A is correct because cloud-based automated failover ensures continuous operations. Question 24. During a major transformation where existing methods no longer meet demands, a financial institution modernizes its transaction system but faces resistance from long-time employees. Which approach would best facilitate this transition? A. Offer comprehensive training and involve employees in the change process. B. Force immediate adoption with strict deadlines. C. Allow employees to use old methods indefinitely. D. Delay modernization until full acceptance is achieved. Answer: A. Offer comprehensive training and involve employees in the change process. Explanation: successful change management requires employee engagement. B is incorrect because forced adoption leads to resistance. C is incorrect because maintaining old methods slows progress. D is incorrect because indefinite delays hinder growth. A is correct because training and involvement improve adoption. Question 25. When evaluating the effectiveness of a complex system over time, a nationwide e-commerce company notices that its AI-powered recommendation system is driving fewer sales than expected. Despite gathering large amounts of user data, customer engagement has decreased. What should be the first step in diagnosing this issue? A. Analyze user behavior patterns to identify potential mismatches in recommendations. B. Increase marketing efforts to boost customer interactions with recommendations. C. Assume the system is working correctly and allow more time for improvements. D. Reduce AI-based recommendations and return to manual product suggestions. Answer: A. Analyze user behavior patterns to identify potential mismatches in recommendations. Explanation: for a complex system to remain effective, it must adapt to user behavior. B is incorrect because increasing marketing does not fix recommendation issues. C is incorrect because assuming correctness without analysis may allow deeper issues to persist. D is incorrect because manual suggestions lack scalability. A is correct because analyzing user behavior helps identify where recommendations are failing, allowing for data-driven improvements. Question 26. In a scenario where regulations and policies create obstacles, a financial institution faces difficulties implementing a new digital payment service due to conflicting federal and state compliance laws. Customers are frustrated by delays in rolling out the service. What is the most effective strategy to address this issue? A. Work closely with regulatory agencies to develop a compliant implementation plan. B. Launch the service regardless of regulatory concerns and adjust later if needed. C. Stop the project entirely to avoid potential legal complications. D. Implement the service in only one state to test feasibility before expanding. Answer: A. Work closely with regulatory agencies to develop a compliant implementation plan. Explanation: regulatory compliance is crucial in industries like finance, where legal missteps can lead to penalties. B is incorrect because launching without compliance could result in legal consequences. C is incorrect because abandoning the project means losing market competitiveness. D is incorrect because state-specific testing may not federal compliance issues. A is correct because collaborating with regulators ensures a legally sound and scalable implementation. Question 27. During a restructuring process that impacts operational efficiency, a large manufacturing company consolidates its supply chain operations to cut costs. However, after the transition, production delays increase due to misaligned logistics. What should be the immediate focus to restore efficiency? A. Reassess supply chain workflows and establish clear coordination channels. B. Increase production speed to compensate for delays. C. Return to the previous supply chain model. D. Accept temporary inefficiencies as a normal part of restructuring. Answer: A. Reassess supply chain workflows and establish clear coordination channels. Explanation: Restructuring should improve efficiency, not hinder it. B is incorrect because increasing production speed without fixing logistics may lead to errors or bottlenecks. C is incorrect because reverting to the old system ignores the reasons for restructuring. D is incorrect because inefficiencies must be actively addressed, not tolerated. A is correct because evaluating workflows and enhancing coordination ensures long-term success. Question 28. When managing a crisis that threatens stability, a global airline company experiences a cybersecurity breach affecting customer data. Passengers are demanding transparency, and regulatory bodies are requiring immediate action. Which response would be the most effective? A. Immediately inform customers and regulators while implementing security fixes. B. Delay public disclosure until a full investigation is completed. C. Focus only on repairing the system without addressing customer concerns. D. Downplay the breach to avoid reputational damage. Answer: A. Immediately inform customers and regulators while implementing security fixes. Explanation: Crisis management requires transparency, accountability, and swift action. B is incorrect because delaying disclosure erodes trust. C is incorrect because ignoring customers damages brand reputation. D is incorrect because downplaying security breaches can lead to legal penalties. A is correct because communicating openly while resolving the issue builds credibility and compliance. Question 29. In a case where technological advancements disrupt traditional methods, a publishing company faces declining sales as consumers shift toward digital content. Some executives want to stick with printed books while others push for a digital-first approach. What is the most balanced solution? A. Develop a hybrid model that offers both print and digital formats to meet consumer demand. B. Focus only on digital transformation and discontinue print operations. C. Continue traditional printing methods without adopting digital platforms. D. Wait for market trends to stabilize before making any changes. Answer: A. Develop a hybrid model that offers both print and digital formats to meet consumer demand. Explanation: Adapting to technological disruptions requires strategic flexibility. B is incorrect because ignoring print consumers could alienate loyal customers. C is incorrect because avoiding digital platforms ignores market trends. D is incorrect because delaying adaptation leads to competitive disadvantages. A is correct because a hybrid approach accommodates different customer preferences, maximizing market reach. Question 30. While planning for long-term sustainability in a changing environment, a global automobile manufacturer must transition toward electric vehicles as government policies tighten emissions regulations. However, switching too quickly may disrupt existing production and alienate customers who still prefer gasoline vehicles. Which strategy best ensures long-term sustainability? A. Gradually phase in production while maintaining a mix of gasoline and hybrid options. B. Completely stop producing gasoline vehicles and switch entirely to EVs. C. Continue producing gasoline vehicles without investing in technology. D. Rely on government incentives to determine the pace of transition. Answer: A. Gradually phase in production while maintaining a mix of gasoline and hybrid options. Explanation: Long-term sustainability in a shifting market requires a phased approach. B is incorrect because an abrupt switch may cause supply chain disruptions. C is incorrect because ignoring trends risks falling behind competitors. D is incorrect because relying solely on incentives lacks a proactive strategy. A is correct because a gradual transition allows companies to adapt efficiently while maintaining profitability.